Hello everybody, welcome to Roundtable. I'm your host, Rehiyong. Good as always to have you with us. Tibet is a southwestern Chinese autonomous region on the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. And it is also known as the roof of the world. The Roundtable team will travel from Beijing to Tibet for the very first time on our show's history. Whoa! Leave the studio and do a series of shows in Tibet. And we'll be taking the train to get there. So starting from Tibet today, we have a special treat for you, and actually it'll last for a little bit. That is called Railway Trip in Tibetan Style. That's our special series, and we kick it off today, making it rather unprecedented on the show's history. Today I'm joined by, well, this is not unprecedented, Lai Ming.
Yeah, hi.
My good friend, colleague, and yes, somebody we should definitely have on the show today because you've been to Tibet for...
3 times.
And the next one will be the 4th time?
Right.
Well, a seasoned hand we have here. Yes, and also we have our colleague, Rhio.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. From the Asia and Africa Center of our institution, and it's great to have you here. Rhio has just gotten back from Tibet.
Yes.
Everything's still fresh in the memory?
Yes, it's very fresh.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the fun things to do and also preparation to do. As we know, going to Tibet, I mean, in olden days, it would take forever. And also, it would be quite the trek, considering the altitude of the place.
Yeah.
But now, a lot of things have changed, and it's going to be a very different kind of experience. And guys, you will spill the beans and let us know, right?
Absolutely.
Sure, absolutely.
Great. And you can catch us on video today. It's not just audio, it's video today.
Hey.
Yeah, hey guys.
And we are outside.
Yes.
Yeah, we're outside. We're no longer in this old studio for Roundtable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually stretch my legs. If you want to see that, you got to come to our video platform, and there's a few where you can pick and choose. Yes, I have legs.
Okay.
Yes, I
You don't need legs for radio shows, though.
do. Not really. So you can come to our Facebook platform at CRI Learn Chinese, Twitter at China Plus Pods, Weibo at 英语环球广播 and 央视频 at 轻松调频 Easy FM. And also, of course, you can catch us on radio as usual and find us on our podcast platform of Apple Podcast at Roundtable China. There we go. Okay, guys. If you just listen to the audio, you would also realize that our show is a little bit different today because... Was that cicadas that I heard?
And some sparrows as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, there they come.
There it goes, yeah.
Yeah, this is a completely different ambience. It's not the usual show we do when we're in the studio. It's a very professional environment in the sense that...
It's very nice too.
Really?
It is
Why do you like it this way?
Well, it's more natural, and I think it's more conducive to talking about Tibet, because Tibet is all about natural things, right? You know, all about the environment, biodiversity, and now that we are inside this park, I mean, I think it's just it does justice to the topic that we're talking about.
Good.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah, we on Roundtable have been looking forward to traveling outside of the studio without a window, to do the actual show. We fantasize.
You need to emphasize without a window.
Yeah, we fantasize doing the show in somewhere nice, for instance, in Suzhou. But Suzhou obviously is a very fantastic place to visit. There's plenty of gardens, but I would say going to Tibet for the first time in the history of the show, I mean, that's really unprecedented, and it is also quite eye-opening, really, for the team and for those of you who are listening to the show.
Yeah.
And for those viewers, right? For those who haven't gone to Tibet, well, this is your chance.
Yeah, and also, I guess my suggestion here is to keep an open mind because during the recording and the streaming of the shows, you will hear all kinds of noises that you don't usually hear in our shows. And also, who knows, maybe like a wild animal might just wander into the camera, and I would
be
advise
surprised.
Just kick off your heels and shoes and just lay back and enjoy the show.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, both of you have been to Tibet.
Yes.
And what did you think now, as you get to sort of sit down and really think about it, is the thing that really sticks with you about Tibet?
Me first.
Yes, Rhio,
sure, go
please.
ahead.
Oh, me first. Okay. I did a lot of things in Tibet, but the thing that really went inside my heart is when I got the chance to interact with middle school students of Lhasa Beijing Experimental Middle School. That was the first time in the history, because I'm Filipino, that was the first time in the history, more than 1,000 years of history, of Philippine-China history, that a Filipino was allowed to share some Filipino language, Filipino culture, and as well English to the middle school students of Tibet.
Well, the Philippines is quite far from Tibet.
Yes,
I mean, although in Chinese history, in Tibetan history as well, there's been experience of Tibetan people, monks, and then regular folks traveling to India to
all over
carry
Southeast
out
Asia.
exchanges. But for them to really travel to the Philippines and for the Filipinos to travel to Tibet, I mean that's quite a challenge.
Quite far, actually, and of course the environment, the climate is very different. So within that span of time, there really was no Filipino who went to Tibet and shared that kind of experience and cultural understanding between the two peoples. But and also, I was given the chance to talk to the students and teachers of that school, and they shared to me how they see the world and their aspirations in life. And in that young age, I'm talking about the students, they are already aware of what they want to do in life. And they are willing to do everything they can to study well, to learn well, so that they could contribute to their society in the future, become leaders in the future. And I think this goes perfectly in line with what China is doing right now. I mean, the reason why China is getting better and better, I mean, economically, culturally, and everything, because the Chinese people are always striving harder to get better. And the Tibetan students reflect this attitude in life at that early age, and that made me cry, actually. Even though they're young, and then even though they're not really prosperous in life at this point, they know what to do in the future, and that really sticks in my mind.
That's really what it takes for you to find your fortunes when you really venture outside in the open world. And I have to say, you have a very in-depth and comprehensive understanding of Tibet. I mean, I have been there 3 times, but I don't think I was given the chance to go to a school and to really communicate and exchange with the students. All I had a chance to do was to perhaps just tour the streets of Lhasa and maybe visit some temples, and that was it. Because we every time we were on a business trip, and we have a very specific target to meet, and that was to do a live show to mark a special occasion, be it the establishment, the anniversary of the establishment of the autonomous region or anything else. We were just flew in and we did the job and we flown out of the place. For most of the time, I remember the high altitude sickness, and then but on top of that, obviously I remember the beautiful scenery, and it's almost as if I got a new pair of eyes, or I got a new filter for my eyes. So out there, the skies are bluer and the grass are greener, and then that was the superficial experience I got, even though I've been there several times. So I sort of envy you for having that experience.
Well, thank you very much. I was surprised they gave me that chance. I mean, the Tibetan government, the autonomous region of Tibet, the Tibetan government, gave me that chance to interact with their people, with their students, with their teachers. I got the chance to teach them a little bit of English, a little bit of my language, Filipino, and I got to learn Tibetan languages, some words in Tibet as well. Like let me remember the way they say thank you is tujuchi. Tujuchi. Yes, tujuchi.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. And some other words that I can't remember anymore.
Right.
But yeah, it gave me a lot of insights when it comes to how they see the world, how they live their lives. And they invited us to their homes as well. We ate their food. They cooked for us. They gave us that tea, the butter
tea.
Butter tea. I mean, that's really. I mean, not a lot of foreigners will have that chance. I mean, to interact with them, to really go to their house and, I mean, to their institutions.
I mean, they can be tourists. Maybe they have a good time in the coffee shops, very famous coffee shops
Yes.
over the internet.
Yes.
But I guess few of them will have the chance to really go into the average households of the Tibetan people.
Yes,
So again, as to you, I mean, I certainly look forward to this trip.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we could arrange some
I
of the
certainly
events.
hope that you'll be given that kind of chance too.
We are going to be there for 2 weeks, so most likely we're going to have that experience.
Yeah,
And
I
we
hope
will
so.
be showing you little bits of our trip. I think we're going to capture pretty much everything we can to be presented in front of the camera and share it with you. And we're going to do a bunch of shows.
A bunch of shows.
Yes, and actually, I think this is something that we very much look forward to, and I think it might be something that you would be interested in as well. That is, it's not going to be a superficial look around.
No.
Or, you know, like
Right.
what usually the tourists would do. I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with being a tourist, of course. But this time when we're going, like what Rhio said earlier on, it's going to be something like in-depth of interviews and
Right.
exploration and really hang out with the local people and try to understand the culture, the history, and so much more. So that you have to expect, I suppose, on Roundtable
Right.
in the shows coming up in
Pretty
the next
exciting.
few days. Yes, I'm very excited
Prospects,
about
yeah.
that. And also, Rhio, didn't you teach a little bit of martial arts as
Yes,
well in the school?
yes,
And
yes.
for those who can see Rhio, I mean, you're pretty
I'm
a buff guy, actually.
No, actually, no.
Yes.
I like exercise, but
Yeah,
no,
you do. And you're a specialist, I would say, in this particular strain
Oh,
of
no,
martial.
no,
oh, did I set it up a little bit
Oh, okay.
too ambitious?
I could see the muscle on your back from
He's
the
just
video.
being humble here, right? He's being
No,
very modest here.
Yes, we share since I came here in China, generally, 12 years ago. I've started to share our martial arts. It's called Arnis or Eskrima. It's a martial art that uses sticks, hands, pretty much everything, blades and
Blades?
things. Yes,
Yeah, Blaze.
yes, it's
You
a
make it
bladed
sound so
martial art.
easy.
Yeah, it's our martial. It's an indigenous martial arts of the Philippines. And when I came to Tibet, that's one of the surprises that struck me. We came there actually to do a documentary. My part of the documentary is originally to teach English, but somehow that got changed along the way. It got changed to sharing Filipino culture, and of course, what better way to share Filipino culture than to share Arnis, our national sport, our national martial arts, and one of the greatest cultural heritage of the Philippines. So I floated that idea to the leaders of our team, and they said, yes, okay. I got surprised, okay, let's do this. And so that day came, it was a Monday, and then I talked to the students and teachers, they agreed, okay, no problem. So they organized the students in a big hall. There were around like 40 students, if I'm not mistaken. There are a lot of teachers around as well. So I started distributing the sticks, and I started teaching them and telling them the history and telling them Bruce Lee also studied this under Dan Inosanto.
Well, that I didn't know.
Bruce Lee studied this, and then they got interested in the Philippines. Okay, Manny Pacquiao and the beautiful beaches. Okay, all right. So they started asking, what is it? Okay, let's train. We said, let's train, and they surprised. I was very surprised. They liked it. I mean, the movements of Arnis, the way we do it, and the history of it, and I found out that Filipinos and Tibetans are not very far from each other culturally. We are actually similar. We like dancing, we like happy, we like singing, they like singing.
Yeah.
Whenever they eat, they sing and dance. So we do that too in the Philippines. So I was very surprised to learn a lot of things about Tibet. We are very similar to each other. So that started it. And then we got like 1 hour of teaching, and then they taught me their language. I taught them my language. I taught them English. I taught them martial arts. And that is unprecedented in the history of Philippines and China. Philippines and China has more than 1,000 years of history, and that was the first time it was allowed in Tibet. I mean, Arnis was allowed in Tibet. It's one of my best experience during that trip.
You did a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And I see the passion in your eyes.
Yeah.
And
I'm really passionate about it. I mean, when it comes to strengthening the relationship between my country and China, I'm all for it.
Yeah. And it's really, I think, such a gift of humanity that, when you get to share these things that, maybe I have this. I don't know if you have this or not, but
we can try and bring things out and demonstrate and show.
Yeah, and then in the process, a lot of the times actually we realize that there's so much that we share in common.
Yeah.
And actually that bond, it leads you to great places.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're all humans. I mean, first and foremost, we're all Asians. So sometime in the past, we have been connected some way or somehow.
Yeah.
So our cultures would be similar to each other.
Right. And also as like Han Chinese and Tibetan Chinese, and also Tibet is a multi-ethnic place.
Correct, yes.
There are Mongolians and other ethnic groups as well.
And also the minister of the Tibet Publicity Department, she said that the Tibetan people are culturally connected to Mongolians as well. I was surprised.
Yeah, they went a long way.
Yeah.
Since the 14th century, I guess. I mean, the Mongols, the Kublai Khan, and they sort of united. They brought Tibetan into the reign of the Chinese civilization. I would say that's
Yuan dynasty, right?
Yuan dynasty. But before that, I mean, in Tang dynasty, I think Tibet and the Tibetan locals and the what do you call them? Zhongyuan. So more like Central Chinese people. I mean, they had a lot of communications. I mean, they fought, but they tried and found a way to peace, and there were many, in fact, monuments to the interactions and exchanges and their commitment to peace.
There was a princess, I remember. Yes, Wencheng princess, Princess Wencheng.
Two actually, and later in the same Tang dynasty, and there was a Jingcheng Gongzhu. So two princesses.
There's another one.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so back then, a marriage could be a
unite.
Yes.
Kingdoms, right?
Yeah, and a symbol of unity and stability, and also Wencheng Princess, she did bring a lot of the newer and higher level of technology.
Yes.
Many craftsmen were dispatched to go with her to Tibet, and she also, very importantly, brought a statue of the Buddha.
Buddha, yes.
Which
that's
is
in the Jokang Temple. I saw that.
Yeah,
yes.
Dazhaosi Jokang Temple, huh?
What is it like
golden.
in real? What's the real deal like?
It's wow. It's how do I describe
Were
it?
there like tons of people and you could only see the back heads of the people?
We went there. There are a lot of people when we went there, by the way. But I got a glimpse of the Buddha. I mean, the intricacy of those. How can I say it? It's. I don't know how to describe the art that they put in there. It's golden and it's beautiful and it's awesome. It's beyond awesome. For lack of better word, it's awesome.
Right. You're speechless, you know,
Yes,
when you
it's
see something like
very
that.
beautiful. I mean, you imagine for hundreds of years it's been there, and they preserved it as it's a gift from the princess, from Wenchang princess to Tibet, and they united the kingdoms. And because of that golden Buddha, Tibet became innately. An intimate part of the Tang Dynasty that time.
Well, they would like to be that way. I mean, because it wasn't like they got off from the right foot. I mean, there were some conflicts before they arrived at this point, but obviously this golden Buddha was a very nice signature, very nice signal to the goodwills of both peoples.
Right.
I hope when you go there, you could show it on video. I mean, it's really. I mean, for lack of better word, I don't know how to describe it, really. It's really, really beautiful.
Cue the picture.
Yeah. Just see it. I mean, a picture says 1,000 words, as they say.
Right. Okay, noted. Writing this down to our producer so we can see if we can get permission to video something awesome for you.
Right.
Well, okay, so there's definitely one thing to check out. And what are some of the other things that's like on the must-see list?
Potala Palace?
Yeah, the Potala Palace, I was just about to say. I mean, if you want to go to Lhasa, and the Potala Palace obviously is the first thing that would catch your eye if you are in the city.
Yes, I've seen it on postcards.
May I show it on?
Yes,
I have a
please.
picture of this.
You have one with you.
Yeah, I have a picture
with you.
Yes. Let me see.
Oh, sorry, I just saw a lot of photos.
Oh,
Don't mean to intrude. I'm
Okay.
not looking at your phone now, Rhio.
It's fine. You can.
We'll see it when it's
nothing
ready.
Wrong with that.
Oh, it's such a beautiful
Yes,
scene.
this-
Wow, look at the blue sky and the
Is there any
and the
way we
palace.
can show this
You could
on
zoom it
camera?
out. Yeah.
Well,
We
I'll
could
try
have
my
this.
best.
Wow, so it's
Just look at the pristine blue skies.
it's a palace in white and red,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
against the backdrop of blue sky
Oh, yes.
and very white clouds.
Yep.
So
and
it's
okay, question here.
Yes.
Because I see a lot of steps.
Yeah.
I suspect there's steps.
There are
Are you
many
supposed to walk?
Yeah.
yes, you are. Yes, you are. I'm afraid.
There are actually the Potala Palace is composed of two palaces,
Yeah.
the white one and the red one. The white palace, if I'm not mistaken, is 12 stories high, 13 stories high. The red one is 14 stories high. The red one is the new one, and the white one is the old one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're saying, okay, was it 12
Well,
plus
13. The white one is 13.
Okay.
And the red one is 14.
14? So that's 27 floors.
No.
There are different parts.
Different parts.
You
Right.
can only get access to one part as a tourist.
Yeah.
But if you're a monk,
Then you
get
can
full
see it
access.
all.
Yes. But
Yeah.
we were allowed access to both.
wow. I've been there twice. I mean, the Potala Palace, but I haven't been given access to the other part. So,
Yeah, we were
beat me
lucky
again.
enough. Yeah, we were lucky enough.
Neo 2,
Right.
Liming 0.
And I'd be like minus, 10 or whatever.
No,
Like,
I hope in this trip you will be allowed access to the red palace is also a different animal altogether because everything's red and the red has it's not actually red, it has yellow and black and red and also white, and those colors, they have meanings.
Wow, so I do look forward to being there again and hopefully get access to the other part.
Yeah,
and
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I have never stepped foot in the palace,
Oh.
like ever. I've been to Tibet like once, but that time it was like Lai Ming said, actually we went
In and
together.
out, in and out.
In and
Yes,
Yeah.
it was for reporting, for broadcasting,
Right.
and so I didn't really get to see much, but I had such a great experience there. Just
So-
with the limited interaction I had with people around.
So there's a lot to
So
look
rushed.
forward to in this
But
trip.
definitely. So hopefully, well, I'm sure for this trip, as we take Roundtable with us to Tibet, it will be, well, the opportunity of a lifetime for those who are involved, because we will have more time and access to so many different parts of Tibet and
hope so, yeah.
various
I hope
aspects
so.
of people's lives
Yeah.
do we get to experience with them. So gosh, I'm excited. And yes, we will be back after this break. Please stick around. And if you are watching us online or listening to us on podcast or whatnot, well, stay where you are and we'll be right back after this break. You are listening or watching a special episode of Roundtable's special series, Railway Trip in Tibetan Style. And I am your host, Rehiyong, joined by Lai Ming.
Hi.
Hi, Lai Ming. And Rhio.
Hello.
Yeah, our colleague from the Asia and Africa Center. And it is great to have you guys to share your majestic experience of visiting Tibet, and also we'll talk about the preparation,
Yeah.
the necessary steps to take before you actually take off for Tibet. Yes, and for all of you who are watching us, there are multiple channels to do that. On Facebook, we are CRI Learn Chinese, and on Twitter, please search for China Plus Pods. On Weibo at 英语环球广播，央视频 at 轻松调频 Easy FM. And if you decide to listen to the show, as usual, we are on Apple Podcast at Roundtable China. Leave us a message, let us know what you think about the show, about everything, and maybe of my stretching abilities.
Stretching abilities.
Are you stretching as you speak?
Okay, I'll do it again with a
Okay.
different.
Oh, leave the bananas alone,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, sorry.
We have some
sorry,
bananas
wearing
in front of us.
bananas. Sorry about that. Sorry, and then I'm not really wearing socks. But anyway, so we get to do that on the video, and yeah,
You're going to need that in Tibet, actually.
really,
A lot of stretching.
Oh.
Why is that?
Because you need to be strong.
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 Oh, didn't they
Legs,
say that
yeah.
the stronger you are, the more physical activity you're usually engaged in your normal habitat, usual habitat,
Yeah.
and then once you reach the Tibetan plateau, boom, you fall the first.
No, yes and no. Yes and no, actually. When you say stronger meaning bigger muscles. If
you
you're
have.
a bodybuilder,
And you are kind of.
no.
Yeah, you do not.
A little bit.
Modest guy.
Yeah. Basically, if you have bigger muscles, of course, you need more oxygen, right? So if you're here, for example, in Beijing, you go to the gym a lot and you develop bigger muscles. When you go to Tibet, you need more oxygen. Of course, the Tibetan air doesn't have a lot of oxygen, so you will suffer more. That's strong connotation. You will suffer more. But if you're the other strong, if you're strong cardiopulmonary, like
I
for
see.
example marathon runners or those how do you call them? HIIT, high intensity interval training people.
Okay.
You will be stronger. You won't develop that much altitude sickness because your heart and your lungs would be a lot stronger than ordinary people. Yeah. So that's it.
This sounds plausible, but given my experience going to the plateau, I mean, the first time I was there, it was not too long or too distant temporally from my college years. I remember in college years I used to jog a lot, so I was I would think I had a stronger heart. I mean, I would think I was stronger cardiopulmonarily, but no.
No.
No. So when it comes to high altitude sickness, I mean, it affects everybody differently, and every time is different. I've been there 3 times, and every time I had a different type of high altitude sickness. So I have to say I'm getting some jitters as to this incoming trip, and we got to talk about preparations.
Oh my.
Yeah.
My goodness, Lyman.
And that's real, yeah.
You're not, neither of you is making this any easier for me, because I'm like, the neophyte. I am the person that's been to Tibet the least times, and, last time when I went, I had such severe migraines. And it lasted for a few days, but somebody else on the team, who's this lady, she's petite, she's super nice. I don't know if personality has anything to do with it. But anyhow, she was perfectly fine after the first day.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll leave it to the hands of fate and see how we will weather through it. Hopefully, quicker, because also Roundtable is gonna kind of be like a reality show. Because
You mean like this?
Like this in the park,
stretching. Because we will be doing live recordings along the way, or maybe even live shows. So we will bring you the raw footage and feelings and reflection about everything as we go on this trip. So.
If we have a headache, we just say we have a headache.
And there's just no way of hiding it, right? When
You're going to have a headache. I'm very sure.
Okay, thanks for that. That's a heads up.
Reality bites.
All right.
Yeah. So yes, preparation then. Is there any way to make the headaches, just kick in maybe later, or just not, or just ease the situation for us a little bit?
Well, from the research that I've done, as I've said, as for me, I experienced a lot of headaches because I don't know, maybe because I had bigger muscles, maybe.
Yes, you do.
Or
validation.
I don't know. For some reasons, the altitude did not like me. I needed like 3-4 days before I got acclimatized in Tibet. But
3 to
after
4 days.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, some people. I know some nice lady who went with us. She was perfectly fine. I mean,
there's always one of those people.
Oh man, I said she was running and jumping. Oh man, first day I went there, I was like an old guy. Like, it's very hard to move.
Yeah.
And everybody's telling me don't move a lot and don't run and don't do this and don't do that.
Don't shower.
No shower and don't. Yeah. So I didn't do all that. I followed everything they said, but still headaches came. But
what was the remedy to that then?
Yes.
You just endure, power through it by sitting down and doing nothing?
No, I needed to to come along with the team as they go around. Yeah. But I needed to get oxygen as well. So
Right.
there are oxygen tanks available. If you feel nauseated, you feel migraine, they will provide you with oxygens and oxygen tanks are portable ones. You could put them in your nostrils, and it will provide some form of
Relief.
comfort, relief. And that's one. And when we're talking about in Tibet, but before coming to Tibet, we talked to some experts from the Beijing Tibetan Research Center in Beijing. They said this one would help a lot.
Hong Jing Tian.
Yes,
Okay.
It's kind of a herbal
Okay.
medicine.
Yep.
Hongjingtian, yes, I actually do have a little bit of information
Research.
about that.
Okay, okay.
Yes, it's
Hit it.
called rose root or golden root.
Okay.
A perennial flowering plant, and it's considered as a traditional medicine
Yeah.
here in China, and also interestingly, in Russia as
Russia,
well.
oh.
Yeah. So basically,
Oh.
well, what I suppose old wisdom says is it's supposed to be very good for you.
But these are capsules, right?
Yeah, these
Yes.
are capsules. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I've been swallowing these things like just
Really?
yeah, like before going, and on the in the fine print on the Hongjingtian or this rose root thing,
Yeah.
it says that take multiple ones at one go and 3 times a day. So
Yes,
I've been
yes.
following that
That's good.
religiously, and fingers crossed that it works.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works.
Hopefully,
yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. Okay.
And another tip is you should exercise 2 to 3 weeks before you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good.
But the week before you go, you should stop exercising. And I learned this this morning, and it's kind of too late because we were about to leave.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
there's no
that's-
time to make up for the exercise. I just have to stay put.
Just cross your fingers then.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, the exercise is always good. But the kind of exercise that you do would be HIIT. It would be high intensity interval training. Don't lift any weight because the weights will grow your muscle, and you don't want big muscles in Tibet because muscles will consume more oxygen.
Right.
Right.
Okay. I'm just being a little bit self-serving here, but I gotta ask you this question. That is, what about crunches? So like I do work on my abs like every day. So should I keep on doing that before going to Tibet, like the last week, or should I just pause?
Well, if you're used to doing crunches, then keep on doing them. Then I
Just
think
stop
that would
doing
be
it when
okay.
you're there.
Yeah, when you're there, don't do that. You're going to have palpitations, shortness of breath, and migraine if you do
Right.
that.
Okay. Noted.
Yep.
I will follow your
Yeah.
advice in that sense. And also, you've got some other items in front of us.
Yes. This one is a medicine. It's a Chinese medicine for when you feel a bit uncomfortable. Your heart feels elevated heart
And it's
rate,
racing.
pulse rate. Yeah, that will help decrease it. This one is I can attest to the efficacy of this one. This is good. This because I feel like. Especially when you go to bed, before going to bed, you will feel boom, boom. Your heart will just pump and pump and pump because your body would need oxygen. When you go to sleep, when you're powering
Let's see
down,
what it does.
yeah, when you're powering down, your heartbeat would normally become slower because your body would not need more oxygen, right? But in Tibet, because the oxygen is in the air is not so much, even if you're powering down, your heart will still beat faster because your body would need more oxygen.
Right.
More blood, more oxygen. So more pulse rate, more oxygen.
Okay.
So that's a problem. So if you have elevated heart rate, you need this medicine.
Right.
medicine.
So medicine does help for
Yep.
Rhio, and we don't
Right.
know if it's for another person.
Yes, for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And there's one last
And there's one more.
mysterious.
If you
Bottle?
feel, yeah, it's a glucose drink.
Glucose drink.
Yeah.
It's an energy drink.
All right.
It's just sugar. When you feel you don't have any energy left anymore, you drink this. It's
Okay.
similar to some sports drinks like Gatorade or
Right. Yeah.
Red Bull or
Got
something
it.
like that. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. So extra calories
Extra calories.
to keep you going.
Yep.
Right.
All right.
And of course, the Tibetan tea and coffee. Tibetan tea and coffee are very, very good. Try them.
Right.
Butter tea, huh?
Butter tea.
Yeah. Tastes a bit different from milk tea, but yeah, they're supposed to help you ease into the environment.
Yep. The butter tea, the salty ones, very good.
Yeah.
I like
Salty.
salty
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Okay. So also they're a little bit more on the greasy side.
A bit
right?
greasy and a bit salty, but it's really, really good. It's a bit different. That's the first time I have tasted that kind of tea, only in Tibet.
Okay. All right. And also you mentioned coffee.
Coffee, they're Tibetan coffee. Wow, man.
Yeah, what is
Man,
that like? So
it
it's
hits you
locally
like
grown?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they said we went to this farmers market. It's Nungi Bai Nungi. And I forgot the name. Nungi Dongchang, something like that.
Okay.
It's a traditional farmers market in Tibet where all the products there are locally grown.
I love that
Coffee,
concept.
yeah, you
Yeah.
could.
And they sell coffee beans.
Yeah, I found some coffee beans in
Wow.
there, and they told me everything's locally grown. And we went to the coffee bar as well. They said it's locally grown. Everybody says it's locally grown, so it must be locally grown in there. And it's
Yeah.
really nice. I mean,
Does it taste any different from what you have, here in Beijing?
yes, it's very different, and it's a bit bitter, a bit sour a little bit, but it hits you when you taste it. It hits you like, wow, it's energy.
Oh, yeah?
I see.
Yeah.
Wow, I
So it's quite strong then.
It's strong, yeah, it's strong, but it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Like espresso.
It's something
strong.
like that, yeah, something
Okay,
like that.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
I better
maybe,
take it easy then.
Maybe we should find a coffee shop and then do a recording there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
while we have the coffee.
Also, hot pot, their Tibetan hot pot. Whoa, man, it really relieves the symptoms of migraine.
Okay, so on the first night we're gonna have a hot pot, hopefully, if we can arrange that.
That
Yep.
shouldn't we ease our way through? Isn't it a little bit of too grand entry?
You wanna start with porridge?
I was thinking like congee, baizhou, just like with white rice or wheat or whatever, and have maybe like preserved pickles, hospitality
of
the
Tibetan
local
people,
That
yes.
is something that,
Yes.
forever I know we will
Yes.
cherish.
Right.
Yes.
And just considering that Tibet as a region, the average altitude is 4,380 meters, and that's 14,000 feet.
Oh,
So everything will be different when
It's
we
gonna be
go
like-
there.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like
this tall.
Yeah.
Like one of my friends in the Philippines, he's a diplomat. He says when he saw the picture, it's like you're closer to heaven. I said, yeah, we are literally closer to heaven, 4,000 plus meters above sea level.
It is true. At some point, depending where you go, I remember there was a time when we drove a car to Shikatsu. That's
Shikatsu,
that's the where you see the Tashilampo temple for the Banchan Lama, and on the way you have a chance of crossing. What do you call them? Sanko. So that's the sort of
The mouth of a mountain?
mouth of a mountain. Yes. So that's about elevation 4,000 or 5,000 plus. And we decided to take a break there, and we noticed, at least I noticed, some fog coming our way. And it got so moist that when the fog leaves, when it's in the distance, I noticed it's actually a cloud.
How do you
yes,
tell
yes,
the
yes,
difference
yes.
between fog and cloud?
You can't.
Oh, okay.
You assume
When you're inside,
assume it's a cloud. Yeah.
And one more, when you're in Tibet, it's like 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah.
There would be
What do you mean by that?
There would be hours. It's like this. There would be hours it's cloudy. There would be hours it's rainy.
Yeah.
And some said during certain times of the year there would be snow.
Right.
Even in summertime.
Yeah.
chances are you run into a snow.
Snow, yeah.
Depending on where you are,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of the high altitude places.
Yeah. In a place where we went to, there's Rehiyong County. In Rehiyong County is like a 4,600 meters above sea level.
Well, that's high.
That is where the hot springs are located. You can see snow-peaked, snow-capped mountains.
Right.
So it means there is snow there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like the perfect
Something to
title
see.
for a poem, or
Yeah.
the perfect title of a new rock song, you know, like Guns N' Roses has
Guns N'
November
Roses.
Rain.
Oh.
We will have August snow. Doesn't that sound quite amazing too?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And also just think of that high altitude. The plants, the animals,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. All
natural
different.
environment is
All
going to
different.
be all different.
Yes,
and
yes.
so I hear what people who come back and share their experience say, that it is so pure
Yeah.
and clean. And I just can't wait to see that.
Yeah, especially when you go to places outside Lhasa,
Right.
like Nemo County is one. That's around 4,500 meters above sea level as well. We went there, where we experienced for the first time. And there's another one, another experience that I made. And Tibetan paper is very famous in China, right? Tibetan paper.
Yes, they are.
That's being used in temples and in important documents. They write them, and all around the world as well. Religious documents, they write it in Tibetan paper. For the first time in history, I also wrote our
Language?
in Tibetan paper in Nemo County.
Wow.
I wrote mabuhay. Mabuhay means wan sui in Chinese, long live.
Long live.
Okay.
That was the first time in the history of Filipino-Chinese relations that was also done. That was done for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's in Nemo County. And in Nemo County, they have different language as well, different variants of Tibetan language. And they have a bit of their culture is a bit different in Nemo County. They have what they do there is make some incense. That's Tibetan incense. It's also
Tangxiang.
very good. Yeah,
Incense,
it's very
yes.
good.
It's
We
very
went to the-
famous.
they showed us how they make it, and it's very traditional. They don't use machines. I mean, they use water, flowing water, and some water wheels to scrape and to scrape the wood that they will use for the Tibetan incense. And after that, they will process it, put it under the sun, and do some more processing, and then make them as an incense. And it's really how do you say, fragrant? The incense has a distinct smell that's really, when you smell it, it's very conducive for meditation.
Right.
Some would say it's not very productive, but on the other hand, I mean, every process of making this incense is for them kind of like a prayer, and then there's a lot of piety involved in making the incense, and then I imagine those stout believers of Buddhism would think this is very conducive to the practice.
Yeah.
And it's also very good for the environment. It's there's no chemicals involved.
Right. And that, both points, when you hand make these things painstakingly, and also, be environmentally friendly, and also just embodying such long history, that's all priceless. And
Yes.
also, if we were, as I'm sure anybody who goes to Tibet and has the chance would want to see the natural habitat and the meadow, have a chance to go to the national parks.
The rivers.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
the rivers. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
So they're magnificent, or
You're more than magnificent. I mean, you
Oh,
can
wow.
see it's like it's the reflection of heaven. The rivers are very sacred for the Tibetan people.
And lakes.
right?
Yeah, and rivers and lakes.
Rivers and lakes.
And you can see the reflections because they have such blue skies, and the reflection in the rivers is all. The river would also look like blue, and when you look up and you look down, it's the same. It's wow.
Yeah, I remember that. It's quite impressive.
Yeah.
Right. So when you go to the wild. What should we do as preparation? As I'm like a really bad example of like the urban people don't know how to survive in nature, and basically I'm scared to be out in the wild. So what do we do to be prepared?
Well, basically, if you're going to the wild, be prepared with your clothes. You should be. That's number one. You don't wear.
Put on some clothes.
Yeah, you don't wear
shorts or
shorts.
t-shirts.
You don't do that because suddenly it will rain. Suddenly the sun will come, or the fog will come, and the snow will come. You have to be prepared with that. Yes, and then wear comfortable shoes. And
waterproof?
then waterproof. Yeah, if you have some waterproof jacket, bring those too.
Okay.
Throw this inside the bag, and then. When you always, this is a must. Always, when you move, try to be slow. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be excited. Oh, very beautiful. I want to go there.
Yeah.
And then
That's
suddenly
me.
you're palpitating. You're doing that, and then everyone will have a problem. They have to take you to the hospital.
Yeah. So Rehiyong, don't rush to that spot to get a selfie because you run out of breath.
Yep.
It's
dangerous.
It's going to be a journey in that sense.
Yeah.
That maybe
Take it slow.
Right. Maybe this is, like in Chinese we have the saying that, this plot of land, it breeds a certain type of person, a certain type of people. And in Tibet, maybe there's this slightly slower pace of life. And also I just feel that it's almost like, appreciation of just the smaller things, and
the
because
things
if you really take your time, that's when you realize there's value in small things, in just not need to rush to do anything, and I think that is such a lesson for somebody who's used to life in Beijing.
Everything is in a
fast
rush.
pace, right?
And you're kind of told by nature, by the high altitude, that no matter how
take it slow.
no matter how excited I get, I'm not gonna just dash off. I'll need to hold my horses a little
That
bit.
is correct. And Tibetan people, even if they were born there, they live there, they move slow. They don't rush in. You don't see them jumping around and running around. You don't see them doing that. They just walk slowly, and then they talk slowly. They do things in their own pace, but you can see them very happy.
I mean, the kind of patience they demonstrate, especially pertaining to religion. I mean, you must have seen people doing koto.
Oh yes, in Potala Palace.
Prostrate.
Yes.
Is it to they sort of stretch their whole body on the floor, and they take a step, and then they again do that process. Some take months, if not years, traveling from where they live to maybe places like the Potala Palace or the Drokhan Temple to pay the tribute, and they're willing to do that. I mean, every step of the way they do a prayer, and that's it has to do with piety, but it also has to do a lot with patience.
Dedication too to what they believe in.
And I think, as someone who's grown up and spent most of her lifetime in concrete jungles and,
Concrete jungles.
and being,
the city of
being
Beijing.
fine with that, this is going to be an eye-opening experience, and it's going to be, I think, for me personally, I feel, this is what I feel, as a lesson, to really take.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just stretching a little bit more. Sorry.
Well,
guys.
stretching. Oh, what's stretch? What's stretch?
Yeah, me too. I mean,
In unison.
stretch my legs.
Feel free to do whatever, Yeah. So, when you go to Tibet and it's summertime, this is one of the really good seasons to go, actually. And
This is actually the best season to go. I was told by the Tibetan officials. August. August is the best season.
Yeah, you got more oxygen in the air, and the temperature isn't too low in the morning and in the evening, and it's not snowing that much in August. It's not snowing that much, and so it's more accessible. Many parts of the region will be closed off due to snow in winter time. So I think from April through November or October is the prime season for tourists in the region.
Yeah. And they said it's August is also the time where you could see yaks roaming around because you could see them. Yaks are, for those who don't know what yak is, it's a kind of cow, Tibetan cow, which only live in Tibetan Qinghai Tibetan plateau. It will not live elsewhere in the world. So those animals are actually majestic animals. You can see them roam around, and because it's not very hot, it's not very cold, you can see them roaming around eating grass everywhere.
An equivalent would be the American bison.
Oh, bison, yes.
Yeah, and there are so many different kinds of animals that.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Also, there are antlers and deers, and I saw a cat actually in the mountain. Yeah.
Wow.
Does it
It's,
look like a domesticated cat that we usually we're used to?
Oh man, it looks like a domesticated cat, but it was. Let me show you the cat.
Just as you're looking up the photo,
Yes, sure.
I also remember last time when we went to Lhasa, there were so many dogs just wandering about.
I remember that. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, and they were just like taking a nap, like at the foot of a tree or at the foot of a palace or whatnot.
Or a temple,
and people just feed them, and I guess they're strays, but they seem to like live such a peaceful and relaxed life there. So I've always wondered,
Yeah, animals are part of Tibetan culture as well. They take care of them as well as take care of other people. And speaking of cats,
whoa, you mean like a?
it looks a
cat.
look, this is the place where we saw the cat.
Right.
And look,
Wow.
Okay, let's see if we can show the camera the cat. The cat looks kind of like
It's a regular
remote,
cat.
Really? I think this is the remote cousin of a tiger or a leopard.
Cats are a
this
remote
as big as
cousin.
I know, but they're bigger than what we see in Beijing.
and this
don't
is
you
where
think?
and this
Because
is
you're
where
zooming
we
in?
found it. And that place is where we found it.
Oh, okay. And can you see the cat?
Can you?
Okay, let's
Zoom in.
And I'm gonna push it further.
There you go.
Yeah. So.
All right.
It's
and where did we find the cat? Oh,
In the beautiful
this
mountains.
is where we found the cat.
In the wild.
In the wild, yeah. Well, this is going to be quite the trip as there's so much to sort of take in, you know, and it's going to be so different from what we see in Beijing or, the other places that we usually visit.
Usually big cities in China.
I just couldn't wait to be there, even though I've been there 3 times.
Yeah, you should, because Tibet is a big region, so there are a lot of places to see, many people to talk to. Even the local officials are very, very nice and very proud of their heritage and culture.
Right. Yes, and we'll be hitting multiple places.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to Lhasa, Ningxi, Shikats. Yes, and much more. Well, you must, follow us to know more about it, right?
This is really
Our
exciting.
viewers should stay tuned and follow you and wherever you go. I mean, I'm sure there will be a lot of videos and photos soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for more info, please check Weibo at 英语环球广播, or just follow our podcast on the
Roundtable
Apple.
China.
Yes, on Apple Podcast. And thank you so much, Rhio, for coming
My
on Roundtable.
genuine pleasure.
Yeah, and sharing with us all your thoughts and reflection on your trip. And of course, thank you, Lai Ming, for being amazing as you
Always a
usually
pleasure.
are. And yes, we're taking him with us, obviously. And that brings us to the end of today's Roundtable show. Thank you so much for your company. Have a beautiful day, and we will see you in Tibet.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.